What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Communications. In this episode, we're going to be going over two badass Mandalorian comic books that dropped this last week. The first one we're going to cover is going to be going over The Mandalorian, based off the TV series, season number 2, issue number 1. Then after that, we'll round things out with Bounty Hunter, issue number 35. But first, if you haven't already seen the television show, then guys, this comic is going to be perfect for you. If you haven't already seen the television show, then guys, this comic is honestly perfect for you. Because it might just again, like season 1, be nothing but a shot for shot from the show. A few panels here and there do give us a little bit more information. Now with this one, what a glorious cover it originally had, but what an amazing variant I was able to pick up with the absolutely stunning Cobb Vanth. Well, to simply just recap where the episode and comic goes, Mando, with Grogu of course, goes to a planet into a underworld fighting den to get some information about other Mandalorians. Well, he was led astray as these people have been trying to collect Beskar to sell. They ambush the Mandalorian, he fights his way out easily, and then captures head of this gang and is able to force the information out of him. Heading then to Tatooine, where we get to see his now old friend, and definitely a favorite amongst the fans, Mando. And much like the last time, he does again borrow her speeder to run off Mos Pelgo, the apparent source of this rumor of another Mandalorian. When arriving in Mos Pelgo, he is of course soon to meet Cobb Vanth, and a quick altercation between the two of them where Din demands the armor of Cobb, and Cobb simply tells him that's just not going to happen. They are then interrupted by the giant crate dragon burrowing its way through town, eating one of their banthas. This is when Cobb Vanth and Din Djarin are able to strike a truce, and Cobb agrees to give up the armor if Din can help them with this crate dragon problem. Well, they leave on their speeders, go get some help from the local Tusken Raiders. And this is when we get to learn a little bit more about the background of Cobb Vanth, how a miners guild took over Mos Pelgo after the Empire fell, leading to him and the others to be kicked out of town. From homelessness, they rob parts of the miners guild and are able to get enough scratch together where Cobb is able to actually then purchase Boba's armor from the Jawas that took it off his almost dead corpse. See that in the book of Boba Fett. There, of course, he returns to Mos Pelgo, takes out all the miners, and is able to have the town back, becoming the town sheriff. After that, we get the scenes where Mando has to play peacekeeper in keeping Cobb and both the citizens of Mos Pelgo in a very strenuously teetering alliance between the citizens and the Tusken Raiders from the valley near the Krayt Dragon's den. They need the weapons from Mos Pelgo, and they need the environmental knowledge from the Tusken Raiders. They are able to keep everyone kind of working together enough to plant the bombs and set the ambush, when things sadly, of course, don't go as they should with the fight against such a massive Krayt Dragon. This is when Din has to take things into his own hands, grabbing a detonator device, some bombs, heading into the Krayt Dragon and attacking it from within. That's where we get to the end of this, where the Tusken Raiders are now completely happy as they get the Krayt Pearl and all the meat from this dragon. The people of Mos Pelgo are happy because the Krayt Dragon will no longer terrorize them, and Mando now has the Mandalorian armor to hopefully take back to its original keeper, who's been watching him this whole time. This last panel was an amazing shot when we got to see it in the actual show. The return of Boba Fett. And speaking on a return for Boba Fett, let's now dive into Bounty Hunter issue 35, where we're gonna actually get the Bounty Hunter crew amassing some type of plan around one of our very favorite clones, Boba Fett himself. Now, before we get too deep, quickly, let's just talk about the fact that I want you all to make sure to go like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Comment down below who your favorite bounty hunter is. Like the video if you want to see more comic book breakdowns, figure reviews, and other just random spontaneous Star Wars topics. Alright, now back to the Hunters. This is a pretty chaotic and crazy ride of a comic book, and I really enjoyed every second of it. It starts off in some super seedy black market district in the planet of Assam, Dasam. It's Star Wars, guys. Pronounce it however you wish. But almost like a guild hall or a bounty hunter's paradise, a denizen for those ne'er-do-wells and trouble causers. Here we actually get to see Tonga, one of course the main bounty hunters through most of the Bounty Hunter series, speaking with Kel, someone we've seen from the Solo and Chewbacca comic book series. They are here to find a crew to help with apparently an extremely important and vital mission, attempting to restore and keep safe the small bit of humanity that remains within balance. Kel has her Clawdite, a shape-shifting alien species. When the Clawdite starts this bar fight, you can find it was actually for a purpose, as they're trying to figure out who's the toughest in the crowd. And what a hilarious and yet very fun little cameo we're going to get from Dengar and his wife in this comic as well. Well, Dirge and Deathstick easily clean house, and this is how Kel and Tonga are going to find the two newest members of this crew to go get Boba Fett. And what chaos this crew will ensue, as even within the shipwright, just simply to get to Boba Fett, Dirge knocks out Bosk and the Clawdite, who seem to have been trying to fight, simply saying, "Too loud. Gendai, do not play." Well, they will find Boba Fett on one of the moons of Rishi in some crazy little backwoods bar. There, where Tonga will attempt to kindly threaten him into submission, he will of course do the Boba thing he does best and reply to the two options with, "I'll choose a third." From there, he will just onslaught every gadget and device he has, taking out this crew systematically one by one, almost not even breaking a sweat. The closest person to really lay a hand on him, of course, being Dirge. We get an even funner little back and forth where Deathstick will talk about, "Have you used all of your tricks yet?" And Boba Fett will simply reply with, "I'll let you know when I do," catching her in an electrified net. From there, the only thing that stops Boba Fett from just decimating this whole entire crew is Tonga sneaks up behind him, slams him in the back of the head with the butt of her rifle, knocking his helmet off. From there, has a vibro knife at his very throat, where he just calmly is ready for someone to either claim his life or try to claim the bounty alive, if they're that brave enough. This is where Tonga reveals to all of us, including Boba, she's not there for the bounty. She's there to hire him. Boba Fett, of course, agrees because that's a hell of a way to hire the most badass and infamous bounty hunter in the galaxy. He accepts on one condition. They must do a simple task for him first. Other than that, though, it seems Boba Fett is definitely joining this team. And with a team like Dirge, Bosk, Forlome, Zuckuss, Valence, Deathstick, and now Boba Fett, whatever job is about to be taken on by these bounty hunters has got to be massive. It has to be a crazy enemy or some type of a security force. I'm highly assuming they're going after something extremely imperial or Vader himself. What's going to happen next is going to be super exciting, and I can't wait to see where this comic's going to go. Thank you all so much for joining me this week on Comic Communications issue 7, and I look forward to covering the comics we get this Wednesday and going over all of them for you and continuing these breakdowns. Have an amazing rest of your evening, and as always, may the Force serve you well.